Believe in me. 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 Believe. Believe. Yeah. All you got to do is believe.
Do you believe? Because I believe. Hey, everybody, I know what's up, what's up. If it's a few minutes past 11 o'clock, but what? Not on a Tuesday. It's Thursday. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to your beautiful June. Beautiful June, but hey, your boy Lucas Avedon for the club is here on 106.9 FM. And of course, if it's a few minutes past 11 o'clock, you know we're going to be serving up something here today. Now, I am not alone. For last here in the studio is our newest sponsor, but he's not only just our newest sponsor, he's also a mate. And Sir James McCauley from Playful Growth is here, and I'm going to give a mad shout out and say a one-man band salute to you, sir. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for being here today. Now, we've got a lot to get to because we've got a lot that we want to talk about for the month of June. So we're doing this special thing for today for June. But as well, sir, I have to give a mad shout out really quickly to all the graduates today because it has been nonstop. For those of us who work in journalism and education, it has been nonstop for a lot of people that are graduating. So I want to give a mad shout out to all of those university and high school graduates of 2023. Get to work, bitches. We need you too. Okay, and remember, guys, you can also find more information about our beautiful guest who is also going to be serving up a little bit of live music for us, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, sir?
You did ask me to.
I did ask you to do it, so he's going to do it now.
Basically, that's the thing.
Yeah, and we're going to have some live tracks as well from this man as well, because he also produces his own music, which was something that we're going to be talking about, this man whose fingers are in many different pies as well. Now, Blue Mesa live sessions for you as well as a little bit of music. Remember, you can follow us at The Club with Lucas on Instagram as well as The Club W Lucas on Twitter while Elon Musk has stepped away from the CEO position. Remember, follow us live on rce.cat as well as YouTube at RCE 106.9 FM and 106.9 FM all over Catalonia, wherever you are. Now, let's keep it down just a little bit right now because I'm hyped up. But something horrible happened a few days ago, and that was the death of what we know as the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner. Now, arguably, I could also say Stevie Nicks is now the current living queen of rock and roll, but Tina Turner passed away, and damn, did that hit you oddly as it did me?
No.
No. Okay.
No, the only memory I have of the main memory I have of Tina Turner is from The Bodyguard. Remember that movie?
Yeah, but that's Whitney Houston.
Ah, well, there you go.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Well, Whitney Houston died 11 years ago, but who's counting? I am. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was Whitney Houston. However, Tina Turner was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Ah, there you go.
Before Mel Gibson was crazy. But, you know, one of the things about her was that she was the first woman to ever grace the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, the first black woman as well, and on Billboard magazine as well. Now, she also, of course, had a very tumultuous survival instincts relationship with Ike Turner. And everybody knows that song, Proud Mary, and Nutbush, City Limits. But there's so much music that she did, but she really came into her own in her 40s and 50s, which is not what most people do. Now, so what I'm going to do is play actually a song from when I was in university and she released a record and went on tour and all this stuff. But this actually song is called When the Heartache Is Over. And after the year that some people have had and the sadness of losing the Queen of Pop, I mean, no, Queen of Rock. Let's not put any negative on Madonna. We're going to do some positive juju over Madonna. But losing the Queen of Rock was a bit odd for someone who's a music nerd like me. And it happened during a business session when I was with people. And one woman started crying in the business session. It was a very moving moment because it happened right then and there. It just came up on a news flash. So, Lady Tina Turner, rest in power, my love. Thank you for the paves of roads that you did for many women in many different genres of music. This is When the Heartache Is Over, and we'll be right back with a little bit of commercial love and news you can use in just 3.75 minutes, kids.
Once in a lifetime you find someone to show you the way, someone to make your decisions, but I let you lead me astray. Who did you think you were fooling? Said you were missing me blind, but the truth is I knew you were lying. You were using me time after time. When the heartache is over, I know I won't be missing you. Won't look over my shoulder, 'cause I know that I can live without you. Oh, live without you. Oh, I can live without you. Time to move on with my life now, leaving the past all behind. I can make my own decisions. It was only a matter of time. Sometimes I look back in anger, thinking about all the pain. But I know that I'm stronger without you, and that I'll never need you again. When the heartache is over, I know I won't be missing you. Won't look over my shoulder, 'cause I know that I can live without you. Oh, live without you. Oh, I can live without you. When the heartache is over, I know I won't be missing you. Won't look over my shoulder, 'cause I know that I can live without you. Oh, when the heartache is over, 'cause I know I won't be missing you. Now, won't look over my shoulder, 'cause I know that I can live without you. Yeah, I can live without you. Oh, I can live without you. Live without you. I can live without you. Yeah, I can live without you.
Are you playful in your day-to-day? Well, let's talk real. Let's talk real, folks. Huh? Is that you? Well, let's talk, because let's get real beyond the Insta reels and this be real crap, which I don't know if anyone else is following that. But being alert, content, motivated, and yes, playful in your day-to-day is not easy. I know for me, for someone who runs small businesses, runs this beautiful aid of English radio here in the studio, and for many things that you do, especially if you're a single father, barefoot and pregnant like I am, it's sometimes not easy to get there. But if you're on the go, fella or guy, staying consistent is the realm in which we need to stay, right? And that's where this month's latest sponsor, Playful Growth BCN, comes in, Children of the Corn. Playful Growth incorporates the belief that incorporating joy, creativity, and a sense of playfulness into the journey of your life and personal development, that includes well-being, folks. It's not just about your body. Leads to more sustainable and fulfilling needs. In fact, James and his crew at Playful Growth have led and are using science-backed protocols to deliver elite coaching experiences in the expressive arts, workshops to improve physical and mental well-being, as well as everything based in a holistic manner. So yes, that is also integrative nutrition, Children of the Corn. We're going to talk a little bit more about that this week, and probably in 2 more weeks as well. Now, folks, you can get this and meet where science, play, and your personal development, growth, and happiness come together. Where can you find that? Well, let me tell you. Playful Growth, just as it sounds, PlayfulGrowth.com. Children of the Corn, Playful Growth. And check out their Insta and F-book pages as well to arrange a private consultation and start feeling the benefits of sustainable personal growth in your own life. Hit them up today because we're going to be sending some things your way, as well as a lot of information about something coming up at the end of June. Hey, that's playfulgrowth.com. All right, folks, let's talk about a little bit of news that you can use, because you know who's going to serve it up to you in English? Me. All right, so some stuff has been going on, as you see, in the elections. That was fun. Now, in a lot of my business and university sessions all week, it's been a very emotional and sometimes scatterbrained situation, because I would say 90% of the people that I deal with, whether they're clients or students or what have you, were really pissed off and shocked by the results of the elections. I shan't bring you in too much quickly, but did you hear about some of the results? Okay. And so a lot of people are none the wiser in what things stand. As of we stand right now, in fact, let me do a quick refresh on Al Gore's interwebs. But as of an hour ago, we do not have necessarily a mayor here in Barcelona. Yes, it's been almost 5 days. Who's counting? But what it looks like is going to be happening is that there's going to be some kind of alternative pact that will be going through Senor Trias of Junts pel Cat. And basically, even the IRC, which is the oldest political party here in Catalonia, and one of the oldest, if not the oldest in Spain, and the PP have closed all doors that would facilitate any investiture of the socialist candidate, Jaume Collboni, into the alcaldeship, as we call it here, the mayoralship rather, because they do not want the socialists there. Now, which is interesting to me because he did come in second place. So Trias looks like he might be pacting with either Esquerra and some other small one to take that. It basically has signified that Ada Colau of Podem en Comú is no longer going to be the mayor. At least that's what it looks like as of right now. But the main thing that has really thrown people off balance, and certainly yours truly, is that we had a major swing from the last 4 or 5 years over to the right. Due to these election results, for the first time in Spanish democratic history, there will be a pushback of 5 months advanced of the elections. Instead of December 23 at the end of the year, it's going to be now at the end of July. So in less than 2 months, there will be the general elections here. This should be a cause for concern. So I'm going to take a swig out of my beautiful playfulgrowth.com. Playful Growth. Almost 2 liters. I just want a bitch to know this is almost 2 liters up in here. And you can see what's going on over here with playfulgrowth.com as well. For those of you who will be watching us all week on YouTube and Twitter and FB and all that good stuff, I'm also going to be putting a lot more of my podcast and video cast up there so you can watch that with your eye holes as well. But it really has thrown off the balance, because when you have gone through a pandemic, and we have to be real, Italy and Spain were the hardest hit in the pandemic. They also received the most money, the brunt of the money, honestly. I think the 2 countries received over 40% of the money for all of the other 26 states to divvy up among themselves. We received 40% of it. So 20 and 20. So we've got, we are actually stronger economically now than when we were going into the pandemic, which is a mind F, perhaps, but it's true. We also have the lowest economic, or rather, unemployment levels in Spain since I moved here almost 15 years ago. And there's been a stabilization in regards to codified rights for women, for people in the trans and gay community, for workers' rights as well. We're also the fourth major country only in Western Europe to have more than 4 digits on a payroll minimum. So, there's been a lot of stuff that he's done as well as get us through this pandemic. I would like to say, although we did lose well more than 95,000 lives, there are more states in the United States of America where more people died, individual states, than here in Spain. And we're talking about a country where 20% of all the deaths happened in the world, 20% of all the deaths happened in the United States. So far, we're tallying at 1.35 million people only in the U.S. out of 7.5 who have died just from the United States. And we only make up 4.7% of the world's population over there. But again, who's counting? Remember, you can vote now within Catalonia and Spain through mail. So people like myself who have been here forever and pay loads of taxes, 40%, can't vote in the general elections because I'm not yet a citizen. Many of you can. And so I'm going to stress that factor to please get out there and vote. Now, I also want to say something else that happened because while we were looking the other way, the Cercle de Economía here in Catalonia met together with who's the president whose name is Jaume Guardiola. I wonder if there's any relation. But the president of the Cercle Economía here, Jaume Guardiola, had meetings, a very loud meeting with the head of the People's Party, the Popular Party, Feixó. And I find that very, very interesting. And he let them know in no uncertain terms that there were plenty of people in the Catalunya Economic Cercle who had voted for the PP. And I just wanted that, since that was not reported on in very few outlets. I want people to be aware of that because anybody who knows their history, and if you don't, we'll be talking about that later on in the month, needs to know about the history of the PP. Another good thing that happened, though, is that we avoided a debt ceiling crisis in the United States of America, where I was shot out at the end of the early 80s. I'm only 39. And, if the United States had defaulted on its debt, and this is a major factor because we have to realize that the United States is the biggest earner and provider of certain types of funds in the world, whether you like it or not. It is a fact of truth. It's truthiness all up in your grill. And if the United States had defaulted on its debt ceiling, that would have completely annihilated a lot of the credit ratings by Moody's and a lot of stock market quotes and prices within all of Europe, much of Latin America, and a significant portion of Africa. It is insane that right-wing led, very weak right-wing led parties of the United States Congress was holding in jeopardy. And more than anything, they wanted to boost up corporations for the wealthy and take away privatized and individual packages for military and single people. That's what they wanted to do. They want to take the money from there and give more to the military, to give more to defense and to the wealthy. Well, that didn't happen. Of course, Grandpa Joe made a midnight deal. And you know what? As usual, it worked. Now, in the meantime, speaking of mucking up the world, OpenAI's Sam Altman and leader in the field, Jeffrey Hinton, have both stated, even in the U.S. Congress last week, that AI, if not controlled by powers that be, will lead to human extinction. Now, these are two of the main people who have created AI and have watched it. I mean, a lot of you have it. If you have a little Roomba, that little cockroach that goes around cleaning your floors, well, you've got AI all up in your grill already. I mean, like THX, they're listening. Or was that Dolby? I can't remember now. But it's a very interesting thing that we're going to be talking about later on with a guest that's coming on later on this one, probably next month actually. But I'm fascinated by this. And one of my gentlemen here is this man with fingers in different pies, shout out playfulgrowth.com, is well immersed in it and is going to teach me a little bit more than I'm even aware of right now. But I also want to say one more other thing because we have to pop into some popular culture news. Firstly, Taylor Swift, you know we never play your music here, but you need to break up with that mofo. Secondly, Kim Cattrall is going to be popping up as Samantha Jones in the last couple of episodes in the new season of And Just Like That. Oh my God, if anybody follows that, which would be, of course, the Queens and the Queens. Yeah, Kim Cattrall has said yes, she will do a guest spot and a phone conversation. You heard it here first, Children of the Corn. And another thing you're going to hear first is Dua Lipa's Dance the Night. What is that? It's from the new Barbie movie by Greta Gerwig, whose movies are thebomb.com. If anyone has not seen Greta Gerwig's work, please watch Frances Ha. But Greta Gerwig has created a multiverse type movie about Barbie, and it's going to be specifically featuring Margot Robbie, probably the most beautiful actress in Hollywood right now, in my opinion, and Ryan Gosling. Meh, but at least he likes Latinas. But this is Dua Lipa, Dance the Night. Remember, you can catch the jams live on 106.9 FM and rce.cat as well, and YouTube, and I'm throwing it up on Twitter, and of course, we'll do some other things as well. But Children of the Corn, we've got a lot to get to when we get back here because Sir James Macaulay of Playful Growth is going to be here, and he's going to be teaching us a lot. And I'm going to be taking notes because you got to learn. We'll see you in just 3 minutes.
Tonight, I can take the heat, baby. Best believe that's the moment I shine. 'Cause every romance shakes and it bends. Don't give a damn. When the night's here, I don't do tears, baby. No chance. I could dance, I could dance, I could dance. Watch me dance, dance the night away. My heart could be burning, but you won't see it on my face. Watch me dance, dance the night away. I'll still keep the party running. I won't get out of place. Lately, I've been moving close to the edge. Still be looking my best. I stay on the beat, you can count on me. I ain't missing no steps. 'Cause every romance shakes and it bends. Don't give a damn. When the night's here, I don't do tears, baby. No chance. I could dance, I could dance, I could dance. Watch me dance, dance the night away. My heart could be burning, but you won't see it on my face. Watch me dance, dance the night away. I'll still keep the party running. I won't get out of place. When my heart breaks, when my world shakes, I don't play safe. Don't you know about me? I could dance, I could dance, I could dance. Even when the tears are flowing, there diamonds on my face, I still keep the party going. Not one hair out of place. Yes, I can. Even when the tears are flowing, there diamonds on my face. Yes, I can. Still keep the party going. Not one hair out of place. Watch me dance, dance the night away. My heart could be burning, but you won't see it on my face. Watch me dance, dance the night away. I'll still keep the party running. I won't get out of place. When my heart breaks, when my world shakes, I don't play safe. Don't you know about me? I could dance, I could dance, I could dance, dance the night.
And I hope you're going to be dancing the night because I'm going to be dancing the night because I know that we're getting dancing back into Barcelona live. I mean, we're going to start it. Right, James?
That's right, sir.
And remember, you can get more information at Playful Growth that you can see right there with your peepholes if you're watching through Twitter, even Tumblr. We'll throw something through Facebook. We're going to be doing a lot of through audio and video casts as well as on YouTube. Of course, you can follow us at RCE 106.9 FM. Thank you so much for being here, my beautiful new sponsor, sir. I want to give a little bit of intro to who you are, but who best to do it other than Mr. James Macaulay of Playful Growth? Sir, tell us a little bit about what brought you here to Barcelona, please, if you would.
Well, that's a long story. But essentially, I was in I was with a friend in Bulgaria setting up an online how to be more social course.
How to be more
How to
social.
be more social. How to be more social, and what are the kind of ways you can engage with people in order to have a more meaningful life? Because I believe that engaging with people who gives you a lot of meaning in your life. But sometimes people are more closed than they realize, and there are simple tricks to engage, smile at people, different mentalities and things that allow you to engage and connect with people.
What if I really can break in
Mm-hmm.
really quickly? What was one of the first times where you realized that you like connecting with people, or is that just is that an Irishman thing? I'm wondering.
You know, I was actually a bookworm when I was a kid.
Okay.
Until about 14, 15, I was
Okay.
very, let's say, introverted. And then I discovered alcohol, and my introversion went away till about 22, 23, when I realized that had overtaken my natural inclinations. And I gave up alcohol at 23. And I went through this process of relearning how to connect with people in a meaningful way, which was painful and slow, but ultimately great.
So, wow, alcohol at 14, 15.
That's standard Irish. 13, you're on. 13, you're on it, you know. And when I was 16, I fell off a wall and burst my kidney.
Madonna mia. And you continue drinking for 7 more
This
years.
is, exactly, this is the thing. In Ireland, it was so normalized that no one ever thought to say, maybe you're drinking too much. You know?
Would you say, and I'm sorry that we've diverted a little bit off the passion, because obviously our brothers from Ireland has moved to grace Barcelona with some goodness. But would you say that's a big kind of quiet killer of some sort for a lot of people?
Is it quiet? I mean, in Ireland, I think it's quite clear.
Nobody talks about it. I mean, in my country, everyone's, he's stage 5 bipolar disorder with comorbid with alcoholism. You know, we label. And here in Europe, we don't really do that
Well,
much.
I think when you're 23, when I was 23 and I quit alcohol, it was a shock to lots of people. And it was very difficult because I was such a people pleaser, right? And so saying, no, I don't drink, at first I said like very apologetic, I'm so sorry, I don't want to kill myself anymore. It's really bad for me. And you could feel people reacting like that. One of the things I learned from that was how to be okay with setting boundaries, which is super important. As you get older, I'm 38 now, and when I say I don't drink to people, most people by the time they're 38 have realized that drinking has bad impacts on your health and various other aspects of your life. So more people can relate it to now at this age.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, it's a lot more difficult. You don't have that same identity established. You don't have the strength of character to say, I don't want to drink. And I think having role models at some level of people who don't drink can be very, very helpful.
Hey, did you have a role model? And then I would really want to get some more of this integrative focus. But did you have a role model in helping? Because I have sober people in my family. I didn't have a drinking problem, thank God. I just throw water. That's my drinking problem. But it's a bad movie line. But do you have any
Sober role
models?
No, not in particular. I've never really had so many role models. What happened was I was in Taiwan, and the advantage of being in a foreign country is you don't have the same social mores or connections or people holding your identity so fixed. You have a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
So you can kind of reinvent yourself. I never would have quit drinking if I'd been living in Ireland. It would have been too hard. But when you change your social context, you get a bit more flexibility and you can play around with it a little bit more. It's still painful.
Yep.
But it's easier. There's less friction.
Amen. Let's talk about this, because one of the things that I'm not going to lie, up until this year, we've had the money of Brexit boosting your brother up. And this has been a blessing to have that. And it's so good to not have to deal with that anymore, because I've got a lovely Irishman and a European here sitting next to me. But on top of that, we're here with the Club with Lucas and RCE. We want to be connecting more with local people. And I was really blessed to meet somebody who kind of changed viewpoint that I can sometimes be. I told him, don't confuse anger with my righteous indignation, because as we've become mates over the last few weeks, I was raised to be very conscious of others. I had the disease to please as well, and I've had to learn to break that and draw up boundaries. But at the same time, I've also learned that I'm a very much empathetic, empath, self-actualized human being, because when you survive trauma, that's the kind of people you are. If you come out good, thank God, you focus that way. And sometimes I feel like a lot of my straight brothers and friends, and I really only have I don't really have a big community of gay people who are friends, so most of my friends are straight guys and my straight sisters. And when you have an element where you don't meet a lot of men who are very empathetic or very extroverted and funny and diversive as you are, and also into body, mind, soul, spirit. I don't meet a lot of people like that in general, and meeting you has been an interesting blessing that's had to make me change my thought process a little bit. I want to talk about that because in regards to the philosophy, what is the philosophy behind Playful Growth? And here comes the Instaclip.
So, essentially, being playful is a mindset and an attitude that can lead to a more fulfilling life. And it's also something very natural. It's what kids have naturally. They sing, they dance, they laugh, they play. And at a certain point, we get that, conditioned out of us through society. At some point, the child stops singing, stops dancing, and they have usually some sort of trauma around this. You know, when you ask them to sing, I only sing in the shower. Like, really? You only sing in the shower? That's one of the most tragic sentences that I get to hear almost every single day. You know, I dance when I'm drinking or when I'm out with my friends. And so this playfulness allows you to access basically a sense of joy. And there are a lot of barriers to this in our lives. Social, cultural, physical, emotional. And Playful Growth specializes in essentially removing these barriers. We're not trying to put you into a special state. We're helping you to remove barriers to return you to your natural state of playing, dancing, singing, and actually enjoying life. There's no point, you're not getting healthy to get healthy so you can measure your food more. You're getting healthy so you can access states of joy and share this with other people.
And that's, I guess, where the mind, body, spirit, soul thing connection comes in. Why do I feel, and let me speak empirically, that this seems to affect men more?
I had an interesting conversation yesterday with someone, and we were talking about femininity and masculinity. So women in the modern world can play with masculinity, I think, more easily now than ever before. I'm not saying it's easier, but more easily. Your average man who engages in what we might call more feminine activities like dancing, singing, can get a lot more flack for a variety of reasons, right? And that flack, it's like when you're growing up in Ireland and someone says, you know, are you faggy, gay? If you do any sort of like expressive, emotional singing or dancing, you immediately get cut down by that. And a friend of mine was asking me, well, you seem very masculine, James. And I answered that way, yeah, I think sometimes my masculinity is just I develop my masculinity because it allows me to be more feminine without anyone kind of jumping at me, you know? Get strong, look good, and then all of a sudden you can go dance and sing and maybe no one's going to bother you. But someone who's less masculine is less likely to enter into this femininity, if you want to call that, because of this kind of natural manly thing. Say, oh, what are you doing? What's that? You know? So
does that intimate then that men specifically are often choreographed to be a certain way so that they don't show that?
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, and you know, if you talk, I had a podcast recently talking about how do you connect with your feminine energy, or how do you feel your emotions, right? That stuff's difficult. And for me, I think there's 3 ways that I connect with my emotions, and I'm still consider myself a long road to go through. But the 3 ways I connect with happiness through dancing. Yeah, straight up. Straight up. I connect with sadness through singing. Okay. And I recently learned that I connect with anger through acting. So, and it's been, when I see or hear, particularly when I hear other men singing together, I find that very emotional for some reason. Like Il Divo? I'm just kidding. Now, wait a minute. Speaking of him, singing and acting, he was also recently in a smash hit play down in Polsek called Festen. And good Lord, that was some therapy. But what I didn't know as well is that he does work as a musician as well. In fact, we're going to have to be seeing you live somewhere, aren't we, sir? And one of the songs that I came across is one that you had in one of your pages called Intangibles that we're going to play right now. What brought this about? So I was living in Taiwan after I quit drinking, and I had a band called The Idiots. And I wrote this song one day riding my motorbike over a mountain. And it was essentially a song that captures the feeling I had playing music with those 4 other guys, including my brother. And it was just this feeling of like possibility and joy of expanding your limits, but together with people. The single cover, was that from there? No, I just threw it on. Oh God, I love that. To me, that's like my happy place, by the way. This, familia, is James McCauley, and this is Intangibles. We'll be right back in 3.5 minutes with Playful Growth BCN.
Architects of future, historians of past, designing our future. The victors of our last, gurus of the present, kicking everyone's ass. Riding our future, to write something that laughs, living thoughts before we have them, up before we fall, laugh or ass as we do it. Too much fun to be enthralled, shaking bloody fists and laughter, spinning water just for kicks. And the empty space between the our sick ass guitar licks. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Well, time for breakfast and thirst for lunch. I'm crazy. Tangibles we shall munch well. Jesus did it. Healing to why not this chaotic matter act grow. Drunk before we're drinking, high to know why life's a blast. I'm beyond it, there's no time to spend side lives. Too short for running, too long for looking back. Some visions in this moment, there'll be no chance to get it back. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Time for breakfast and thirst for lunch. I'm crazy. Intangibles we shall munch well. Jesus did it. And healing to why not this chaotic matter act and go. Whoa, oh, oh. Yeah. Historians of past, designing our future. The victors of our last, fools of the prison, kicking everyone's ass. Riding our future, to write something that laughs.
That, is Mr. James McCauley. Now that
and,
right there
and my
was
band, The
Intangibles
Idiots.
and
I'd say.
The Idiots. But I really want to get to something that's happening at the end of the month now. It's happy June 1st, everybody. And yes, we will be back live and in charge with the beautiful people of the new film festival that's opening up here. But on next Tuesday. But the Transformative 28-Day Coaching Program. Now, as I'm going to be shouting out with Playful Growth throughout this month specifically, it's designed and developed for a man, but strong enough for a woman. I said, girl, it's like Secret in reverse. But what is this? Because you integrate, and we're going to talk about this whole and more, but what brought this Transformative 28-Day and why transformative?
Good question. You know, I'm not sure the words. I was talking to a friend of mine recently about the word transformative, and he said, be careful what you promise. Because if you promise transformation, the best they're going to get is transformation. Just promise them this is a chance to change your health trajectory, which I firmly believe that it is.
Amen.
Why is it transformative? Because if you set in place, change the conditions of your life, remove the barriers to being healthy, to having a playful attitude, in the long run, compounded over time, you can be a very, very different person over 10 years. If you sort out your sleep, if you sort out your exercise, if you get your flexibility in line, if you start to enjoy life with like-minded people, over time you will become a very, very different person. And sometimes you need an intense experience in order to reset your habits, your circadian rhythm, your eating habits, all these things. And you need the emotional and social support of a group of like-minded people, which is what we're assembling with this program.
Love it. And that, honestly, like-minded people. The thing is, I feel over the last few years, like-minded people sometimes breed toxicity together. And your whole idea is to remove that literally from your body, from your mind, from we have cracked in our backs oftentimes as well to release that. But you also employ some interesting, as I keep throwing the word holistic and integrative approaches to it, because, for example, you focus specifically male and female again, but yoga for men.
In this program specifically for men, which I can explain.
And let's do that as well. But it also involves things like saunas, meditation, ice baths. I'm going to presume dancing might be up in there too.
yeah.
So, hails to the yeah. And
Absolutely.
so where did the idea, like, where was this body, spirit, mind, consciousness coming from? Post, I guess, yes, you're sober, but why for this with Playful Growth, and also specifically for men focused?
Okay, so let's imagine what are the conditions for a happy, meaningful life, and what are the barriers to that?
Yeah.
The conditions fundamentally, physiologically, you need to be in shape to be able to really appreciate and engage in the opportunities that present themselves. Fair enough. The barriers to that, to achieving that physiological state are a variety. You can have emotional, mental, social, cultural, all these types of barriers. And so a program that's trying to allow someone to access their natural state has to take these things into account. So for example, with saunas and ice baths, these change your hormonal state. These provide you a completely different set of hormones and physiology so you can actually appreciate things better. Basically, you have increases in dopamine, you have serotonin, a whole range of actually just physical benefits, and also the resilience that comes with sticking yourself in an ice bath every day over 28 days with a group of like-minded people.
Honestly, and I would like to also say, people, if you suffer from certain arterial and heart conditions, it might not be the best idea to do the ice baths, but there's so much of the other integrative approaches that you can do as well. And we'll be talking about that all month long here at RCE in the Club with Lucas as well, with Playful Growth. But I would also like to say, for those of you who are interested in staying young, remember, I'm 74 years old, folks. I'm 74. And ice baths for your face produce so much collagen in an instant, I can't even tell you. So for those of you who want to do plump, red, and look, without ice or really freezing cold water, just for like 30 seconds, I'm not even kidding. But beyond that, that's me being vain, sir. But beyond that, you also take the integrative, holistic thing about meditation, about the yoga, about why does a man who is also obviously Adonis type physical specimen, why does he focus also on these more kinetic, perhaps, approaches?
Let's take yoga as a concrete
Porfa,
example,
y
right?
tant,
So I
clar.
started yoga when I was 23 in Taiwan. The reason why I started was because there was no one around to tell me that there was anything not masculine about it, to be honest. And I was in a room for 2 years with lovely Asian women all taking care of me, and they were building contraptions for me because I was a rugby player. I was so inflexible that they had to build ropes and blankets on, and I was piled up like this, and I didn't care because no one around saying it's an idiot. But most people care a lot. If you go to an average yoga class with these big groups of large people, you'll see classes that are designed for average to good yogis, usually women, and then some guys, usually somewhere in the back, not all the time, but a lot of time looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And even for them to get there, they already have to be quite comfortable with themselves. You don't see the multitude of men who didn't go because they were too embarrassed to reveal how non-flexible they are, because they generally focus on HIIT workouts or intense workouts that lead to results, and because maybe they're just not aware of the benefits of breathing deeply and stretching, especially over time.
Exactly, especially over time. And that's the thing. You also have to give yourself that time. Don't think that you're going to see the results, that weekend just because you did it for a few days. And there's an element of that. I want to get to one more song and then get back to how people can get a hold of you, because we're going to be talking about this all month long again, Children of the Corn, and how people can contact you and get more information about that. And I have a couple more questions in reference to the fact that he's also going to play some live music. But you sent a song over the weekend called Shadows for Show. What is this about?
I mentioned it before, but have a sip of water. I tore my ACL. I was living in China a year and a half ago, or even almost 2 years ago. I had a role in a theater there, at a Chinese language theater. I was a yoga teacher, and I tore my ACL just before the big show.
And the ACL is what? I'm sorry?
It's the cruciate ligament. It's what the footballers all do.
Not
Not fun. Terrible injury. And so I sat at home in Beijing during COVID, and I wrote like an EP. And this song, I don't even know exactly, but it exactly expresses some sort of sadness or mourning for some maybe love or feeling that I'm not even sure I ever had. But it definitely expressed the exact feeling I had at that moment. And so it's Shadows for Show.
Shadows for Show, yo. And this is James McCauley here on The Club with Lucas at RCE 106.9 FM, and catch the gems live as well at rce.cat. We'll be right back.
When you take up in the morning, I can feel the summer sigh. I can taste the light of fading, almost hear those swallows fly. I still put my best foot forward, I still crack a smile, but I'm the shadow of the man to which you said goodbye. When you take off in the morning, I can feel the summer sigh. I can taste the light of fading, almost hear those swallows fly. I still put my best foot forward, yeah, I still crack a smile, but I'm a shadow of the man to which you said goodbye. Shadows for sure, I'll talk you through it. Painful and slow, no way around it. Sometimes we need some more than time. Shadows for sure, I'll talk you through it. Painful and slow, no way around it. Sometimes we need some more than time. Well, my heart starts to rumble, guess it's missing the thrill. Well, nothing is for free, it's time to pay that bill. I'll still put my best foot forward, no you won't catch me cry, but I'm a shadow of the man to which you said goodbye. Well, my heart starts to rumble, yeah, it's missing the thrill. Well, nothing is for free, it's time to pay that bill. I'll still put my best foot forward, no you won't catch me cry, but I'm a shadow of the man to which you said goodbye. Shadows for show, I'll talk you through it. Painful and slow, no way around it. Sometimes we need some more than time. Shadows for show, I'll talk you through it. Painful and slow, no way around it. Sometimes we need some more than time.
We've got a little bit to talk about here, and that, my family, was James McCauley with Shadows for Show. And actually, in just a few minutes, he's going to be playing us out with a live track that makes me happy and will make you happy too. Now, out of my curiosity, do you, apart from doing these different approaches to what you work with, is there anything else that feels that you feel sets you apart from other people that might be doing this in Barcelona? Out of curiosity, specifically because I don't really know if these are based on men's, mental, physical.
I can honestly say we have the best yoga teacher I ever met, and I love her to bits. Suzelle, amazing. Okay. I get shivers thinking about her. I love her. I love her. She's amazing. She transmits the most beautiful energy. The other day, I met a guy in Honest Greens. Hi, on the screens, and I invited him over, and he arrived to have a sauna and ice bath. We were having a nice chat, and he said to me, I said, how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing great, man, really good. And it's like, wow, you look happy. He's like, I just had the most amazing yoga class. This yoga teacher, she sang like an angel, and it just was, oof. And I was like, was her name Suzelle? And he was like, you know her? And the other thing that sets it apart is this small student-teacher ratio. We're talking about having 8 to 10 people and always 2 instructors. Mm-hmm. And these are going to be customized plans based on a diagnosis by our osteopath, Jake, right? So when you come in, you're going to be checked out, see what your limitations, what your abilities are. And throughout those 28 days of that yoga, you're going to have constant feedback. And these programs are going to be tailored to your abilities. So at the end of that, you will walk out with a very solid plan for becoming more flexible in the future and a good enough yoga base to be comfortable going to yoga classes without looking up and blah, blah.
In that 28 integrative day approach, what are some of the ways that you'll be doing it? Like, for example, for people who have to work or whatnot.
So the yoga program starts in the morning, from depending on the participant's time frame. But we're looking at morning classes that go from 7 to 8:30, and then the evening coaching classes and saunas and ice baths happen after the working hour, maybe from 6 to 8, 6:38, depending on participants, and on the weekends. So it's a 100-hour program, but it's distributed. It sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, and we expect commitment. But it's distributed in such a way that if you're working a 9 to 5 job or any other job, you can do this and do this program if you have the mindset necessary for that.
Amen.
Which is what we want.
Exactly.
It's not easy.
In the end, no, it's not. So in the end, what would you like to see as a result?
Look, in the end, the idea is that if you change, even just by changing your circadian rhythm, even by getting up at the same time every day and doing yoga over 28 days, you've established a habit and a mindset and a group of people, which is very likely to carry over further on into your life and compound over time. So the idea is I would like people to change their trajectory from this to a little bit higher. And over time, you can be a very, very different person.
And over time, I believe Playful Growth too wants to branch out and doing doing more things as well that incorporate more people talking about certain topics. Dancing specifically, I want to get back into when we would do those shock surprise dances where people would, honestly, this happened a lot when I first moved here between 2009 and 12, and then things with the movement and the process and everything kind of just stopped. But it's time to get that back. Folks,
Yes,
how
sir.
can people contact you? Because we're going to be having you back in a couple of weeks as well to talk more and embellish more upon what we've been talking about. But how can people contact you right now?
Playfulgrowth.com, Playful Growth BCN, Instagram. Those are the two best ways.
There we
Playfulgrowth.com
go.
and Playful Growth Instagram. You can message me directly on the Instagram and I'll get back to you, or someone from my team will get back to you. Or you can message us through the email, james@playfulgrowth.com. Many ways to find me.
And we'll be throwing all of that good services as well here on our interwebs all throughout this month. And we want to thank again our newest sponsor, Playful Growth. And we'll be throwing a little bit of air spots for that as well over the next few weeks. James, thank you for being here. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks after that for you already know what. Now, folks, remember, you can get all that information at Playful Growth and look at Playful Growth BCN at Instagram as well. But we're not over yet. We will see you same bat time and channel next week on Tuesday, as we always do, with Antoine Leonetti of the Mostra Fire Film Festival, the local LGBTQI international film festival. But right now, our brother James McCauley is going to play us out with a little bit of virtual insanity with a new reality. James McCauley of Playful Growth, thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's a wonder man can eat at all with things so big that should be small. And who can tell the magic spells we'll be doing for us? And I'm giving all my love to this world, only to be told I can't see, no, I can breathe, not know what I see. Well, that's what they said yesterday. There's nothing left to do but play. I think it's time we found a new religion. Whoa, it's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't help but think there's something in this world that we just have to give. And futures made of virtual insanity now always seem to be governed by this love we have now. Futures drifting will have a new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, 'cause we all live underground. And I'm thinking what a mess we're in. It's hard to know where to begin. If I could take this earthly thing on, earthly man is wrong. When every mother can choose a color of a baby's eyes, but baby, that's not nature's way. Well, that's what they said yesterday. There's nothing left to do but play. I think it's time we found a new religion. And futures made of
Virtual insanity now always seem to be governed by this love we have now, useless drifting without a new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, 'cause we all live on the ground.
I love it. James McCauley, Playful Growth BCN. We'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.
RCE